Okay, so I've just muted everyone so that you can have your own peace and quiet and you don't hear feedback or anything. So tonight's class I've called Settling In. Settling In. And our mind often goes into the past, into the future, to-do lists, work, relationships, all over the place, doesn't it? Our mind, it can be, and even if we've got nothing to think about, our mind can just pull stuff up and start thinking about it. And then if we're not mindful, or we buy into it, even if we buy into it mindfully, we can be mindful of our thoughts and then still be past and present and all the rest of it. And I wonder how many times in a day, not when we're doing some analytical work like I do here, or having to deal with something technical or complicated, I wonder to what degree in a day we actually need to have thoughts going on. You know, we don't need to have thoughts going on to make a cup of tea. It doesn't require thought, actually. It doesn't require any conceptual thought to make a cup of tea. That still goes on without thoughts arising. It can do anyway, after we meditated for a long time. I wonder actually how long in a day we need to, often in a day we need to contemplate. And yet our mind contemplates a lot when it's busy, doesn't it? And from my experience in meditation, the place where the mind settles back into naturally is here, in sort of our spiritual heart, it's often called. I know our heart is off to one side, our physical heart, but if we let our mind settle in, it comes down to here. It's also, unfortunately, where a lot of our grasping at anxiety, stress and anxiety and worries and fears often occur in the same place, which I think is the reason why the mind is always kept not settled in. It's kept out, because home is a painful place often. Spiritual home's often a painful, anxious, stressed, worried, concerned kind of place. I'm sure you've all, well, I'm not sure you've all been in, but you may have been in stinky bus shelters. You know, you're waiting for the bus. Last thing you want to do is go in the bus stop shelter, and it rains, and you have to sort of stand in the edge, and they're sometimes a bit smelly and grotty, and it's a bit like that sometimes in our heart, isn't it? You know, the last place we really want to be is settled in inside. When we do, we can develop composure with it, and it magically, I don't know why, I don't understand why, I think it's beyond reason. Our heart softens, our heart relaxes when we stay there, even if there's unpleasant stuff in there. Obviously, if it starts to give you a panic attack, then, well, see if you can be mindful with a panic attack. I've never had one, I don't know if that's possible. But generally, in everyday life, we can settle into that place that's worried and frightened. Just like we can sit in a stinky bus shelter, or not stand in it for a couple of minutes waiting for a bus if it's not particularly pleasant and it's absolutely torrential rain. We cope, we're all right with it, and we're better for it. And I know personally that my mind settles into the heart area, because when the mind's subtle, that's where things arise from and go back to, and I can see that and create that. And also this waking mind settles into the heart. When we fall asleep, when I fall asleep, all of the awareness settles back into the heart center. And when I wake up in the morning, all of the awareness comes back out of the heart center. It's like turning on a computer. You can hear it sort of come into action. So we're going to do the breathing meditation, body relaxation, and we're going to do some settling in meditation, some lovely, simple, bringing the mind home meditation. So meditation in itself is very simple often. We can make it simple, and making it simple is just as profound as making it complicated, more so. Sometimes complicated meditations are useful, but often they're a place just to hide in, more theatre, more to do. The core of meditation is enjoying some simple experience and enjoying it. So we're going to do that tonight. We're going to bring our mind inwards. Please become aware of your body. Become aware of your thoughts. It's such a beautiful thing to be able to become aware of our thoughts, because it creates the opportunity for freedom. If we can watch our thoughts, we're not our thoughts, and we don't have to believe them, and we don't have to be embroiled with them. It takes practice, little by little. The very fact that we can watch these thoughts gives us amazing potential, and we can extrapolate that and imagine that there's just stillness watching thoughts, just stillness watching thoughts. This stillness doesn't need to be embroiled with the thoughts or analyze them, critique them, accept them or reject them. If your mind is very busy, it's hard to notice that there's this still perfection watching them. But it is. I'll leave you to just watch your thoughts for a little bit. Notice that the observation is not the thought itself. And now we're going to bring our awareness to our feelings. Yeah, it's quite a practice, becoming aware of our feelings and where they are. As a way of coping unmindfully, we tend to habitually avoid feelings. But we can cope in a totally revolutionary way. We can cope by watching the feelings and noticing that we're not those. And again, this gives us incredible opportunity to develop contentment, composure, resilience, patience. Initially, it may just seem like a reduction in stress, a reduction in anxiety, slowing down. Maybe at first it feels frightening, overpowering, unpleasant to watch these feelings. But the actual unpleasantness is another feeling. Any perception of watching these feelings is not the watcher. So any experience you have of noticing your feelings now, like this is boring, it's just a thought, or ooh, this is not very pleasant. Look at the pleasant and unpleasant. None of it is the watcher. So if you are finding unpleasantness in your mind, in your heart area, in your body somewhere, you'll notice there's a tendency to reject it. There's a tendency to not want to be watching it, to not want to be sitting with it. Notice that. Notice that part of you, that element, and watch that. Watch the bit of you that doesn't want to be doing this, the bit of you that wants to be thinking about past and future. Keep breathing, nicely breathing, and watch the aversion to the feelings. It's this aversion to our feelings that creates just about all of our problems. So many of our problems are because we can't discern and separate out from the unpleasant feeling the wish to be away from it. So what I'd like to do now, if you haven't already done it, is to just investigate around your body, around your throat area, your chest, your stomach, your heart, your belly button. See if you can find anywhere inside of you that wants to be doing something else, not be watching these feelings. We may call it discontentment or aversion. And just watch this, knowing that the watching of it is still. So we're not rejecting the part of our mind that wants to reject these feelings and be away from them and not want them to be here. We're not rejecting that. We're accepting all of it and noticing that the stillness that watches is not the discontentment, the aversion, the wanting to be away. It's very important to keep your abdomen relaxed when you do this because it's very natural to tighten up a bit. Let your breathing be deep. Let your body stay relaxed. And if there's unpleasant feeling inside of you or tension of any sort, this is a really profound practice. It goes against every instinct of the body, which is to tighten up around the unpleasantness inside. So relax and allow feelings. Now we're going to relax the body carefully, as we would with the body relaxation. Please bring your awareness now to your face. Let your face muscles relax. Maybe the tension inside of your heart is still here, but just allow it to be here. Don't avoid it. And now we bring our awareness to our jaw muscles, particularly. They can hold a lot of tension, so we let them relax deeply. Now we bring our awareness to our left shoulder and scan all the way down, carefully scanning down to the fingertips. Where you find tension, let it loosen off. Right now, we're just being simple. Now we're going to do the same from the right shoulder, all the way down to the ends of the fingers. You may have tightened up your forearms from typing today, or your fingers, or your upper arms. Let them relax. Bringing the awareness to the left hip. Same thing. Checking down, relaxing off. And the same now from the right hip down. Relax the body. Now we're going to bring our awareness to our shoulders and our neck. Relax those areas specifically. Make sure your head's comfortably positioned. Chin in just a little, crown of the head up. And check for any tension or tightness you might be holding in your neck and shoulders. And imagine like that summer haze in the distance. It rises up and leaves the body, leaves the shoulders, and leaves the neck. Imagine all of the past tensions and tightnesses and burdens that you've put on your shoulders yourself and other people have put on them. Let them just come away. Now we imagine black smoke inside of our body cavity, swirling around inside of us. And bound up in it is our fear of feelings. Our fear of unpleasant feelings that stops us finding peace and composure before we've even changed anything externally. We can find peace and composure inside. If we do it this way, we don't have to even change our inside world. We don't have to become pure or perfect or blissful or Zen-like, whatever that means. We can just be composed with whatever is arising inside. So bound up in this black smoke is our fear of what is inside. And with 3 nice, steady, deep out breaths, we imagine this black smoke and this fear of these feelings billow out into the distance, the black smoke and the fear. And after the 3rd deep out breath, we imagine that there's no fear of these feelings, because we know there's a space between them and us. There's always a space between them and the observing, watching mind. There may be people who say there's not a space, but I don't want to get into semantics, and for the purpose of the class, there's always this space, there's always the watcher and the feelings. And we adopt the view that all of that fear of feelings has gone with that black smoke, and we're now sat without it. We're trying this experience on for size. We're adopting a view. Imagine there's no fear at all inside of you now of whatever arises. Worry, jealousy, anxiety, stress, fears, tensions, they can all be watched without rejection. Other people's pain doesn't tighten our bodies up like our own pain does, and yet they're both pain. It's the our bit, it's the relating to this pain that tenses up our body and causes anxiety. It's the way we relate to this pain we designate as mine. It's the relating that causes the pain. This distance is not dissociation, it's not denying, merely watching. So now I'd like you to breathe in. Imagine you're breathing in golden, sparkling light. And with each in-breath, this sparkling golden light starts to pervade the body and the mind, and it's purely accepting. This golden light has the capacity to accept everything it mixes with. Pure love accepts everything it mixes with. Imagine this light spreads more and more through the vast space of your mind and your body. And everywhere it mixes, it purely accepts what it finds. And it brings stillness. The mind cannot panic because it can watch the panic. The observation never panics. We can lose sight of that. Right now, imagine your whole body, all of your feelings that you will ever have are bathed in this golden, accepting light. infused with acceptance. So you'll notice this stillness that watches everything, this mind that watches everything, even if you get a glimpse between thoughts of it. It has no agenda, it has no political persuasions or social persuasions, no philosophical beliefs. Now we're going to follow our breath, keeping your body relaxed with whatever is inside of it. Allow your breath to be expansive and relaxed all the way down and back out again. Now we bring our awareness to our nostril linings. Notice the cool as you breathe in and the warm as you breathe out. Keep your body relaxed, you're breathing normal. Become concentrated on these sensations. We're now applying concentration strongly. Check frequently that you're still doing it. Keep your mind relaxed. Like holding wet soap that you're not pressing too little or too hard. Cool changes to warm, changes to cool, changes to warm. This simple process brings you the peace that you desire. And now we bring our awareness to the rims of the nostrils and do exactly the same process. The mind will wander away, and when you bring it back, the process of refinding the rims of the nostrils and reconcentrating causes peace. Very gently, I'd like you to bring your awareness to your heart, to your spiritual heart, in the center of your chest. There's not a pinpoint place, it's just a general area. And instead of focusing on the rims of the nostrils, we're going to focus on this area. And that's all. So whatever is there, we're going to accept. If we don't accept it, we're going to watch that in this area. If your mind wanders away, come back to being aware of this area inside of your body, in the middle of your chest. This is home. It's home every night. It's home every morning. Settling in like this, the mind doesn't rush off. Like a bird searching for land and coming back to a boat. Our mind just starts to settle in into the middle, where it's come from. Imagine that the peace in this place becomes more expansive, starts to widen out in your chest. And down to your torso and up to your throat, into your arms and your legs and your head. And the space in the universe and the space inside of you are not two places, they're not two things. Imagine and recognize that this peace within you has no edges, no boundaries, no corners, and no surfaces. And the space everywhere is one space. Just like all the water in the rivers and the seas and the streams is all one water. Imagine this peace is throughout the universe. Nobody owns it. It can't be owned. But it's everywhere, including the observer, the observation. So the paradox of settling in is that we also settle out. We start to recognize that inside and outside are just ideas, even when we look at it from a chemistry or physics point of view, from a science point of view, we find the same. This space inside of you is not moving around with you. We don't move pockets of space around. When our mind generates peace, it's not constrained. So we can just take a few moments to rest in peace while we're alive, to rest in peace while we're alive. And we can dedicate this peace that we've created, the concentration, the mindfulness, we can dedicate them to our future practice of settling in, to settling in more, paradoxically feeling more connected with everything else. And we can dedicate this peace to others as well. May everyone's mind settle in. If all minds settle in like this, world peace will be here. There'll be no wars. May everyone's mind settle in and find peace. And then, when it feels comfortable, just gently allow your eyes to open. Remain aware of the peace that is here for you. Thank you.